Hello and welcome everyone to your Business Morning. It's Friday, the 6th of December. Let's get the show started. I am Bosin Amafaye. We welcome our viewers here in Nigeria and around the world. Today, President Buhari is presiding over a special cabinet meeting to finalize the details of Budget 2019 documents for submission to the legislature or the Joint National Assembly sitting sometime next week. This will be putting finality to next year's appropriations journey, which is getting started on today. Meantime, the chief focus of today's cabinet meeting, we expect the cabinet to focus on the volatile oil prices now breaching below $60 a barrel. Yesterday was $58 a barrel. Since we touched nearly $80 a barrel, oil prices been moving volatile on the downside. There will also be discussions about Nigeria's oil output. The junior oil minister, Ibe Kachiku, says Nigeria is not ready to join the Pt.1 discussions around output cutback among member states. The OPEC meeting is still going on. There was no decision reached yesterday. So today is the third day of the meeting. Now, OPEC is meeting with its allies, including Russia and other oil-producing states, to find a new direction for next year. Nigeria's the cabinet meeting today on Budget 2019 would also focus on the government's flagging revenue. The estimated ratio of Nigeria's revenue to GDP is now about 5%, the worst worldwide, according to November 27, 2018 report by Exotic Capital and Investment Bank based in London. The cabinet meeting would also focus on election spending, and a few other issues will be there to digest as well. We expect to have what's with the exchange rates and other parameters in the budget for next year. This will take the budget off the desk of the executive and landing that at the National Assembly, whether the Assembly will be able to discuss this and finish it before the February 2019 elections remain to be seen. But of course, the President is kicking the ball down the hill to the National Assembly with this special cabinet meeting taking place today. Meantime, petroleum marketers says they are staying previously planned industrial action, which may include laying off of some workers or stop the lifting of petrol products at the depot. Yesterday, there was a very long meeting between the petroleum marketers and the Ministry of Finance, the Central Bank of Nigeria, the Debt Management Office, and the National Petroleum Corporation. But there was the agreement was that the estimated 800 billion naira subsidy arrears will be paid, but those reports did not provide the details of when this money will be paid and how. The extant promissory notes issued by the Nigerian government to the petrol marketers had expired. The National Assembly reconfirmed a new one late September. Now the Debt Management Office and others will have to go back, including the Central Bank, will have to go back to the National Assembly and the executive to sort this out. How and when that will happen, there was no detail at the end of yesterday's meeting, but it was agreed that the petrol marketers will continue to leave petrol and there will be no petrol shortage during the end-of-year seasons starting in a few days' time. Meantime, President Buhari's administration is still in the bond market, one of the most active years or in the debt markets. The Sukuk bond, the debt office is now offering Series 2 of the Sukuk bond, which was floated first last year. This time is 100 billion, the second tranche of 7-year instrument. That is coming at 15.74 yield. That's currently on offer. That will be closing in a few days from now. The bond is looking to fund selected road infrastructure across Nigeria. Meantime, a new report the last couple of hours from the International Monetary Fund, the executive report on Nigeria's closest neighbor to the West, Benin Republic, says the country's fiscal position has improved significantly and the country's economic growth momentum is apace and the country's midterm economic outlook favorable, largely driven by a stronger demand from Nigeria and better environment for private investment in Nigeria's next door. Meantime, it's going to be a very busy week starting from Monday. The third quarter GDP numbers will be out at 9 o'clock in the morning from the Statistics Office, and foreign trade in goods data will be out at 5 p.m. local time. We're swarming all over those data on Monday, bright and early for you. We'll have quite a lot lineup on Monday for those very critical economic data. This will be the first set of data kicking off the month of December. Later, we'll talk about the inflation and, of course, a few other data. Most likely, some jobs reports will be out before the end of the month. Okay, so let's get into the marketplace. Where are we as far as the market is concerned today? The FMDQ OTC Securities Exchange is continuing admission of new corporate bonds on the market. Of course, companies are listing more bonds because it's a little bit more cheaper and providing them the long-term window they need to get finance for their expansion projects, shore up their capital, and cash flow, whatever it is. So let's get a bit of a sense of how these papers have been priced towards the yield, to look at the interest rate environment and what has been done, in particular relating to the industrial segment of our market. Let's get across to FMDQ, OTC Securities Exchange Place in downtown Lagos, where we have Kobe Bensi Enchil, who's an executive director and head of debt capital market at Stanbic Capital, sticking by to talk to us this morning. Morning, Kobe. It's good to have you on the program.
Yes, good morning, and thanks for having me.
This is very great. So, we've seen the rise of corporate bond in the last 1-2 years. Dangote Cement, Lafarge, and a host of others looking to fund their whatever shortage they have using the debt market other than equities. What are you reading as an investment banker?
Well, that is effectively, the debt market is the way to go for every company that is looking for long-term, stable funding, which is attractively priced, whether for capital expansion or refinancing, debt, or even for short-term working capital. You have the option of issuing commercial paper, which is a form of short-term debt security, or bonds, which is long-term. We've had a record year in 2018 where we've had about 125 billion of bonds, corporate bonds being issued, and 232 billion of commercial paper being issued. And that speaks to the growth that we've seen in the market.